What's going on, everybody? Michael here. Welcome back to Outside the Cage, a subscriber special. How you guys doing today? We got the SMT in the house, my man, who goes from tech to MMA talk. That is really good that you can do 2 in 1. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. We got one person in the house. I know it's an early one. I usually like to go a little later, but we want to get this out of the way. Welcome
Bobby.
in, Bob. It's good to have you on. It is great to have you on, Bob. Thank you for being moderator. I promoted him, and he was really happy about that.
Oh, dude, Bobby holds it down, bro.
Yeah, he's a very good moderator. All right, so here's the layout. Before we start the live stream, let me just disclaim to new subscribers, if you're watching this, to people that have just joined on, this is a subscriber exclusive. This is not something that I push or promote. If you are an MMA fan, this is a MMA podcast where you can watch. We discuss all the news and stuff with MMA. This is just something I like to do as for fun, not really a profession. So don't look at this as the main content, but this is just an exclusive that subscribers get. I don't tag these. I don't share them out. This is only for subscribers. So the views, if they reach the hundreds, that's on their own. I don't even put any tags. I'm just saying it right now. Alrighty, so with that disclaimer out of the way, let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. So we got a couple of things on the plate today. We're going to discuss UFC Fight Night last night, Robbie Whittaker against Darren Till. We're going to discuss Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa, how the middleweights are starting to shape up. We will also discuss the reaction to Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway 2. We got a lot to talk about that. And also a potential matchup with Henry Cejudo and maybe some possible scenarios coming from 251. Nice. Hey, what's going on, Mikey Tech Reviews? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you, as always.
Yeah.
All right, enough talking. Let's do it. So, I don't know if you watched Fight Night last night, but I watched it. I watched everything, the prelims to the regular fight. I got to say, this was the first time my predictions were wrong. I was wrong. I got the whole card wrong.
I'm not surprised, bro. You don't know how to pick them.
Hey, watch it.
I don't know how to pick them.
You know how you know how to pick them? You just gotta watch them a little more often. You just gotta have better instincts. But nah, I got 2 right. I did get the Fabricio Verdum match right. I did get that right. And Paul Craig, I definitely got that one because I like Paul Craig. He's a good guy.
That boy good. Yeah.
But Alex Oliveira was a nice one. I'm really happy. He's starting to rejuvenate his career now. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He says that he's aiming to make a dent in the welterweights. So hopefully he goes around. Because I remember it was
trying to cut weight, man, to that other division. It was just too vicious, bro. He's so big. He's so tall. Yeah, I don't know why he was always trying to get into those lower weight classes.
His leg kicks were phenomenal in that fight last night. And it reminds me of those leg kicks that made of Aldo. You know, Aldo's superior leg kicks. This is what it was reminding me of. He was going to the body. He had him a couple times, so that's nice. But this one was the best one of the night for me. Chimaev, I don't know how to say his name. I forgot how you say his name.
Chimaev,
yeah, thank you. He was coming in 10 days after his last fight and wins. And he threw 63 punches. This man did not have a chance. Not one punch was thrown from this poor man. So this dude is on a whole other level. He is ready to compete. That's what you call a competitor ready to fight. But the main takeaways from last night, obviously, was Robbie Whittaker and Darren Till and Fabricio Verdum and Alexander Gustafsson. So I want to discuss this quickly because this was actually the biggest upset that a lot of people were predicting Gustafsson to win. But in a shock of events, Fabricio, I was on record saying that I would like to see him win because he's a G. He has more experience in the heavyweight division, and Alex is just coming up. So I said, I don't know how this is going to match up. And it turned out to be true because he beat Gustafsson in the first round with submission. And at this point, you know, he's not sure where he's going to go. He believes he wants to go to another promotion to be a champion. Alexander Gustafsson was hoping to make a break in heavyweight, but it didn't look like that's going to pan out. So I guess my question, the first question, only a couple seconds on this. Where do these 2 guys go from here?
Fabricio Verdum, if he still has fights on his contract, he should probably get a decently ranked opponent. I mean, he's a very good fighter. He's a fun fighter to watch too. Submission is always a threat. His stand-up is solid. He's a good fighter, bro, and he's tough and he's game. You know, I don't know where he is in terms of the top 5. You know, compared to any of those guys, he's not.
He was top. He was actually not even in the top 5. He's 14. He was
right.
Really
so, but you know, when you get a win in the heavyweight division, they like to boost you. So, I mean, and he's a name. He's been a champion. You know, he's fought the best. So I think he definitely gets a top 10 fight. The Gustafsson, Bro, I feel bad for this guy, bro. This is a guy I used to adore as a fighter after his fight with John Jones. And then, I don't know, it feels like he's never been able to restore the magic from that fight. He had a massive, huge battle with DC back in the day that he lost the decision. I mean, I respect this guy so much, but I feel like his prime is over.
Yeah.
You know, because he lost his edge in light heavyweight. He goes to heavyweight, which is a terrible way for him to go. Not good, because he's never been a powerful fighter. So to say that's going to translate to heavyweight, I think is foolish. And then I don't know, man. I think like he semi-retired, you know, and then he came back to fight, and he's talked about leaving the sport. I don't look. He might be past his prime. The spark might not be there. The training might not be there. I don't know what it is, but I respect him very much. But if he's gonna fight, he needs to go back to 205. Maybe he needs to do get a spark back. But I'm not surprised by the outcome at all. Had you have asked me, I would have said Fabricio Verdum submission round 2. You know, I would have got the round wrong, but
you would have got it right.
Yeah, man.
No, I'm with you 100%. I respect the hell out of Alexander Gustafsson. He was one of the prime guys that took John Jones to its limit. I remember that first fight, and his last fight was against Teixeira. That was his last win. That was in 2017. So he's been on a 3-fight losing streak. Now you go into heavyweight. And did you see the shape of him when he stepped in? This was him.
He's not a heavyweight.
No, he's not a heavyweight. This was him at light heavyweight. If you see what he looked like now, if you saw that fight, my man, thick. Like, that's not muscle. That's just
like Daniel Cormier kind of looks at heavyweight.
Daniel. Well, the thing is with DC, he can use that weight and grapple and add all his extra
he's a wrestler.
So,
all right.
But with Gustafsson, I don't think heavyweight's going to do it for him. No. I don't think that's going to do it. I mean, listen, I would love to see him get his spark back. I feel terrible that he's going out like this. And, when he announced that he was retiring, I thought, you know what? Just end it there. There's not much you can do. You've been declining. And, I mean, unless you could switch up a training camp or go with a new approach, I don't know. But I felt like he should have just ended it right there. I just think that if he continued to go, I didn't think it was going to get any better. And this proved it, because you got finished in the first round.
Fabricio's tough, bro.
No, Fabricio's tough. But still, who are you going to put him up against now if he wants to stay at heavyweight? Like, I could see maybe if he was to tweak adjustments, maybe get a new training camp or something. Yeah. But I don't know. And I would, it pays me to say this because I respect the hell out of Gustafsson, but I think he should just stay retired. I think unless, of course, there's an approachable fight that it's a winnable scenario, I don't think that moving up to heavyweight is going to do him any good. I don't think so.
I think there's something to be said there. I think his best fights are behind him. I think he took some serious damage in 3 fights. The Anthony Johnson fight against Rumble destroyed his face, bro. There was a lot of extra damage that didn't need to happen, and I think that hurt Gustafsson. I think the Jones fights took a lot out of him, and I definitely think the DC fight took a lot out of him. I mean, this guy has been through wars, and those are long ago. They're not recent. He's been on a skid, like you mentioned. Maybe he needs a training camp revamp. He's married now. He's got the child. Maybe he's not all in. There's a lot of things there, bro. Maybe he needs to consider. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, honestly, the child thing, that's something all fighters should prioritize. You spend time with your family. I'm not going to tell them what to do because I don't have a family and it's not my place to say it. But I think the best thing is always be with your family. That's my thing. Now we get to the main fight of the night, Robert Whittaker against Darren Till. Now, I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to go on record. This was a great fight. Not only was it a great fight from Robert Whittaker, who just bounced back in a must-win scenario, but also it proves that Darren Till is not all talk. Darren came into this division. He called out Robert. He was like, I'm going to take this guy. Nobody calls out Robert Whittaker. Not even Adesanya called out Robert Whittaker. And I got to admit,
Bobby Knuckles.
But I will say, this was an impressive fight from both guys. Most notably, I think Till. I picked Till. But honestly, at this point, I wouldn't have been mad if Rob had won, because Rob is a well-respected middleweight. He is probably the prime example of a middleweight contender. And you know what? He's not too far off from another championship shot. You just beat.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people do feel that Till proved himself in this fight. saying he was able to go toe-to-toe with the #1 contender. He did hit him with a clean elbow that knocked him down. He was trying to read Rob. I could see he was trying to figure out, but both of them were well respected. They were respecting each other's style. They were respecting each other, not trying to let each other go too easily. But I think Rob being in middleweight and #1, I think his experience kind of took the best. And those takedowns definitely probably helped him win the 5th, because I actually saw Darren winning the 5th until those 3 takedowns at control. But he landed that nasty cut on his head, and Rob was busted. That was a nasty shot. But at the end of it, Rob won the fight. But a lot of people actually are not actually ripping on Till. They're actually voicing their support, saying that, you know what, dude, don't take this as a loss, or don't take this as a bad thing. That, you know what, you're only going to get better from this point forward. You're 27 years old. You've just fought the #1 rank. You went all 5 rounds. You did an impressive fight. And even Israel Adesanya came out and was like, I would like to fight Darren Till eventually. So there's some hope for Darren Till. But I don't want to focus on Till, because even though he lost and even though there's probably going to be some setbacks, I want to focus on Rob. Now Rob has beaten Darren Till. He's still the #1 ranked. Then we've got Paulo Costa coming up on the wing. The middleweight's in a little bit of a limbo because a couple of guys are out on the sideline. Yeah. And there's one guy, Jack. He's on the rise. He is actually working his way up. It was on Fight Night last week. He fought, I forgot who he fought, but he's top 5 now, or getting into top 5 territory. And he has a case to want to fight the next contender for middleweight. So my question to you is, this middleweight division is slowly running out of competitors. The next thing you have would probably be the Rob Whittaker rematch, maybe Darren Till waiting in the wing if he builds up a resume. But then you've got guys on the sideline that are injured. There was one guy, his name, I'm going to have to pull up the rankings. I'm sorry here.
I was going to say, go ahead and pull up the rankings, and we could take a look how things are kind of sorted out right now. And then we could see who's lined up and who's got fights coming, who's injured.
Here, let's
that sort of thing.
Yeah, of course.
Because I could tell you, bro, like when you look at the middleweight division, because I mean, this is a tough division. I'll tell you right now who's official. If you look at the top 10, starting with Uriah Hall, those are straight killers through that top 10. Jack Hermanson, Kelvin Gastelum, those are guys that are
That's what I'm talking about.
Those are championship contender level fighters. So those guys are top 10. Even people you look at Jared Cannonier, that dude, or Cannonier, that dude is vicious. He's got finishes on his resume. He's always going for the kill. Paulo Costa is a killer. Robert Whittaker is a killer. Israel Adesanya is a phenomenal, amazing, athlete. Just so much fun to watch. I was disappointed with his fight with Yoel Romero, just the way it played out. They were so careful. But dude, I'm telling you, there are killers in that division. They are a lot of fun to watch. The one thing you want to know when you look at Darren Till, because he lost, how far does he slide? Because what's going to happen is anybody who's won recently goes in front of him just by him losing. But Darren Till won't slide far because of who he lost to. Robert Whittaker is a champion, only going as far back as what, like 2 years ago?
I think Jack is going to move up. I'm predicting Jack and Till to swap. I think because, like you said, he did lose to Rob, but it's not a bad loss.
No, not at all.
All 5 rounds.
Yeah.
My only problem is once Adesanya fights Costa, and if Costa loses, Adesanya is going to have to pick somebody from this. Kevin Gastelum, I don't know what's going on with Kevin Gastelum, but he's not going right. His career is starting to, it was like a year ago he was top 3. All of a sudden now he's
all it takes is one loss, and then you don't fight for a while, and the rankings just kind of slide you down,
No, but he's been losing like crazily. Like Kevin Gastelum. Oh, sorry, I clicked on his name.
That's
but
okay.
Kevin Gastelum,
let's see. If you click on him, can we see his last 3 fights?
Oh yeah, sure. All right, let's take a look. Events. So this was his most recent. It was last week. He lost to Jack Hermanson, and Jack, Joker, he's already coming up, so he's making the case.
That's a bad loss, bro.
That is a bad loss.
Subbed in round 1, dude.
And look, he lost to Darren Till. I remember watching this fight. It was a boring fight, but
he lost so fast.
It was the 3rd round. That's what I'm saying. Like Kevin Gastelum was, in my opinion, he was in.
But you could see the matchups. Like, look at him against Adesanya. Like that was a good fight.
That was a good fight. No, that was a good fight. That was for the interim title, and he still was good in that fight. But what happened here is no excuse. you're a middleweight taking on a guy entering the middleweight. Now, obviously, the Gorilla is a very strong puncher, but you could use your experience. And I watched that fight. I remember watching it live. It was slow paced. Both of them were just trying to outfigure each other. It was similar to the Rob Whittaker fight.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't believe Gastelum should be a middleweight.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't think so either.
Based on his size, he really should be a welterweight at least.
He was at welterweight, and he was winning in his welterweight.
But he has really bad eating discipline. He has a terrible dietary plan. You know,
DC and the cupcakes.
Yeah, bro. It's all about the cakes. About the cakes. You know? Yeah. He really. It's hard, bro, because Adesanya is like 80-inch reach. Mm-hmm. Darren Till's like a 79-inch reach. These guys they're so tall and big, and Gastelum is powerful. All respect, but it's hard to beat those guys when they're like 6 feet from you and they can kick your head. You know?
Oh yeah. And I will say this, it's not the end for Kelvin. I think Kelvin, I think he's gonna
needs a good win, to get him back.
Yeah. I just feel bad that his wins or his losses are against top competitors in his own weight class. My suggestion would be, I don't think you should definitely drop back down to welterweight because he started in welterweight and he was doing pretty solid in welterweight.
If he loses again, he's out of the top 15.
Oh yeah, he'll be out.
There's no way because these guys, there's going to be ascenders. Like a Derek Bronson, a Uriah Hall. These guys are all their name recognition.
Yoel Romero's fighting Uriah Hall, so we're gonna see how that matchup plays out.
I don't like Uriah Hall's chances there, dude.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
Unless he's the faster fighter. God, Yoel might go for the kill, bro. Yoel's awesome, bro. Love that guy.
Yoel is awesome. It's amazing. It's funny. This is Yoel Romero.
I know you.
This is him, the soldier of God. This is him at 44. And last night's main event, we saw that trilogy fight with I think Antonio and Rua. Look at Antonio at 44. Bro,
Shogun Hua has been in the UFC for so long. So has Little Nog. That was like watching, like Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones type like status. They're very elderly fighters, bro.
They're respected. They are a G.
They are, but they're not making noise in the division. Little Nog, he was an amazing boxer and an amazing jiu-jitsu, fighter in his time, bro. That he should not have. No.
Antonio just announced his retirement last night after this fight, so he's done. I don't know about Shogun, but
Shogun's taken some serious, bro. He's been in battles, bro.
Yeah.
Rampage, Jones. He's fought the best. Machida, all these guys from the golden era of the UFC. He's got a lot of tread, bro, off those tires, man.
I'll tell you right now, I hope that that these divisions start to shape up because I'm being honest with you. I'm looking at these rankings and like right now, for me, the best weight class that I've watched has got to be lightweight and probably welterweight a little bit because of just how many competitors they have in there.
Big time names, yeah.
You've got big time names. You've got up and comers like Islam Makhachev. You've even got a couple of newcomers. They're entering into their prime.
Then you got some gatekeepers that are really tough in those divisions too.
Yeah, well,
like Robbie Lawler. Bro, Robbie Lawler's a killer, bro, and he's in at 13.
That's crazy. I remember it was Ben Askren. At one point, Ben Askren was at number 7, and then all dropped down when Damian Maia took his spot.
Ben Askren's a joke, bro.
Damn, man, you really gonna put him like that?
Well, I respect what he did in other promotions, but bro, you ain't doing that at the UFC.
No,
bro.
Yeah. I think at this point, we can all agree Askren had a better career outside of the UFC. I think at this point, you win 2 belts in 2 different promotions. You defend them successfully. You were able to somewhat do – because you can't blame him because the competition wasn't high caliber.
Yeah, but he gave his best years to other promotions that were not as established and high level as the UFC.
No, yeah, but that's not also him because Dana White showed like he didn't have no interest in Askren. He didn't want him. He felt like Askren wasn't – And you could blame Dana. You could say Dana, you didn't bring him in when he was in his prime. Because I would have loved to have seen a prime Askren against maybe in welterweight. I would have liked to see him against a prime.
Yeah.
Because he was in 2013, 2012. Askren.
So you bring up an interesting point. Promotions and the fighters have to come to the table and meet together. It can't be one side only. It doesn't work that way.
Well, Askren's retired. I don't even know why we're focusing on him. Let's get out of that. But keeping with middleweights brings us to today's discussion. The matchup that has been announced. It's something that is a very rare matchup in UFC. Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. Now you're probably saying, what do you mean by rare? Well, I say rare because this is the second time, only the second time in UFC history where two fighters are fighting and they're solely undefeated in all their professions, in their pro MMA career, in their UFC career, everything. So this is going to be a first time for a first time for these two men, but also a second time for the UFC. So,
can we get a draw in this fight? Can that happen?
Well, that's what we're going to discuss.
Could they draw?
Well, that's where we're going to start. So here is the breakdown. I'm not going to predict this fight. I'm not going to do that because we're going to wait for when UFC brings in the matchmakers and everything. But just taking a look on this fight on paper, I'm just going to use this thumbnail because at this point, it's tired of using Google. But if we take a look at this fight, and also I feel like I've been neglecting the live chat. I'm sorry, guys. I really apologize. I just want to know I watch you guys. Jay Brown, what's up, man?
What up?
But on paper, this fight is another dangerous fight for Israel Adesanya. Paulo Costa. If you guys don't know who Paulo Costa is, I urge you guys to watch him take on Yoel Romero. I urge you to take and Uriah Hall. Maybe Johnny Hendricks, but I urge you to watch.
That was a pretty bad John. That didn't turn out good for Johnny Hendricks.
No, but I still urge you guys to check out Paulo Costa and watch some of his fights because Paulo Costa, to me, is not only one of the better middleweights in the division, but he's one of the scarier guys.
Yeah,
with
man.
Yoel Romero, you could argue he's 44 and that he obviously is a different game plan. But Yoel is just as scary. Paulo Costa is a wild animal. He has nothing to hide. He will do everything. That's what makes him more terrifying for me, is that he is wild, that he will do everything in his name to win a fight. Because I've seen he is a black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but has a decent stand-up. And some of these Jiu-Jitsu guys have stand-ups, which is crazy, like Gilbert Burns and a couple of other names. David Maia is not one of them.
What I think happens is they start with Jiu-Jitsu, they start as a grappler, and then they start picking up some boxing and doing some wrestling and stuff. But that's kind of where they start with the Jiu-Jitsu.
That's exactly where they start. But here's where I find it amazing about this matchup. Adesanya has been so vocal against Costa. Costa's been sitting in the wing. You know, he had a bicep injury, I believe it was. That's why they swapped him for Yoel.
Oh, okay.
And he's sitting there going, you know what? You want to talk this game? I'm not there to beat you. I'm there to kill you. That's when it gets personal. When they break out the K word, when they start breaking out that word, when they start putting kill in there, you know things are going to be rough.
It's going
now,
touch.
So I want to ask you, let's break this down as best as we can on paper before we get to the actual predictions, before we do that when the time comes. Because this matchup is set to happen in September, so we've got plenty of time. Going into this fight, who do you think has more to prove here? And I'll start this one. I will start this. I believe that Adesanya really needs to prove in this fight because I'm going to tell you why. That last fight with Yoel Romero didn't do much. In fact, it left more questions for me. And that's similar to another fight we're going to discuss. But I feel like Adesanya is a great fighter. I just don't know if he has the chance to prove it in that fight because both guys, you know, they didn't do much. They didn't do anything. Yoel was a beast. He could have done what he wanted, but he chose not to. So, and Adesanya was running most of the time. You know, he was scared. I mean, what do you do when you're standing there with Yoel Romero? I would be scared too. If a guy of 44 years old looks like that and is dominant, hell,
I can't wait. Can't wait to be 44.
Oh God! Well, you got to get those little roids. That's roids in there. But in terms of this fight, though, Adesanya is a good striker. I do see him having somewhat of an ability on stand-up. But Costa's ground. But even then, Costa is not afraid to win a fight by standing up. I've seen his resume. He's only had, I believe, maybe, you know, it's all TKOs, but he's only had one submission win. And he didn't fight in the UFC till, I believe, 2017. And all of his other previous fights in his last up-and-coming records, in Jungle Fight, FTF, they were all TKOs. But the thing is, they were all done in the first round. So Costa's a fast finisher. So I think Izzy is probably going to – I mean, I don't know how you're going to pull this off, but basing off of Costa's record, I would say he would want to drag this fight out to a little longer because it seems even though Costa has the gas tank, he hasn't gone past the third round. He's only been out of the second round. That's it. He hasn't made it past the third. He has never been in a decision victory. So I think that's where Izzy has somewhat of an advantage because he knows where to score the points, maybe figure out a game plan. But all that goes to shame once you see what Costa does. That's why I feel there's more stress on the plate for Izzy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. If Adesanya loses, I mean, then it confirms to everybody that, you know, he's not able to beat a guy who's really powerful. We didn't get a chance to really see what Yoel Romero could do because the way they were fighting. I think what it does stylistically, you know, when you look at the way these fighters are, it's a bad matchup for Israel Adesanya because this guy's a pit bull. He's very powerful. He's got dynamite in his hands, and he's going to be going for that fast finish. You alluded to that. So I totally agree with you on all that. He's going to be in danger at least once or twice in this fight. Paulo Costa will catch him at least once or twice because Adesanya is very elusive. He's really, really quick. You know, getting out of the way of punches, avoiding damage, getting with a counter. That's what he's going to be looking to do. But Costa's not going to stop. So I think at any point, if Costa lands, Izzy could be in trouble. Because I've seen him get caught by a guy like Kelvin Gastelum and stuff like that. But you don't want to take more than one or two of those. Because the second or even the third one could be the one that knocks you out. You know, and we haven't really seen Adesanya get in trouble. You know, are we going to see that here? If I was Adesanya's training camp, if I were his corner, if I was coaching him, training him, I would be looking at Adesanya and saying, you have to avoid damage. You cannot you can't get clipped by this guy. He's got a lot of power. And then we got to frustrate him and we got to take him to deeper waters. He's got a lot of muscle. You want to wear him out. Yeah. You want to stick and move. You want to get in and get out. You know, you want to land yours, but you want to avoid his. And you want to get past the first round. That's the first goal. You know, to not let him catch you in round one. Avoid that like the Black Plague. Like seriously.
Avoid like the Black Plague.
Yeah, because you know, if you look at Costa, I mean, he's looking to finish fast, dude. You don't want to give him what he wants. You know, and trust me, I don't think Adesanya can finish Paulo Costa in round one.
No.
You know, so I think you might have to train to get ready for 5 rounds. And in my opinion, the longer the fight wanes, the less likely Costa is going to win a decision or get a knockout and stuff like that. It's less likely. But but round 2 is dangerous for Adesanya.
Rounds 1 and 2 are dangerous.
Yeah, I think and then even round 3 could be very dangerous because he may start to settle. Oh, I avoided everything in round 1 and 2. This is easy. As long as he keeps a level head and sticks to his game plan, which I think I know what it is, I think he can pull off the win. But I hope, you know, I don't know, man. I think people have Israel Adesanya a little bit misunderstood. He's going to do what it takes to win. George St. Pierre did that. You know, a lot of fighters have done that, and people have called them boring fighters.
Kamaru Usman being recent.
Well, he's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler.
So that could be boring to some people. So Israel Adesanya it would be nice if he could get a finish. I just don't see it here in this matchup.
Yeah, same thing. Only one thing I want to add, then we're going to move right on. One thing I will note is that Costa is in a dominant shape. You see how built this man is. But something I've learned in my time training is that all that muscle needs a lot of oxygen. You need a lot of cardio to feed all that energy. And I think that could be an advantage for Adesanya if he could drag this fight out. But
Costa's cardio is going to be good, but it's probably not going to be as good as Izzy's.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
If he can drag it out to that third round and figure out some way to pull a decision. Because I'll be honest, Adesanya is not a bad fighter. You know, everybody complains he has no power. He's afraid. He's not a champion.
His power is adequate. It's not bad.
All right.
It's not bad. It's good enough. And he's got an amazing reach and he's got amazing athleticism and quickness. That's just how he is. And Costa, like you were saying, bro, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. I mean, who knows what his power is going to look and feel like, you know?
Yeah. I will say this, though. Izzy has one job for me. One job, if I have to say. He's got to prove that the EA UFC 4 cover art curse is not real. And if you're wondering what the hell I just said, every time there's an artist that's been on the cover of UFC, something bad has happened to them. Take a look at the first one, Alexander Gustafsson and John Jones. Gustafsson loses the fight. John Jones gets caught for steroids and drugs. UFC 2, Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor. Ronda Rousey loses an undefeated record. Conor McGregor gets the belts, but then loses to Floyd Mayweather. UFC 3, he's the double champ. Loses both belts and loses his rematch to Khabib. Now we're in UFC 4. Israel Adesanya and Jorge Masvidal. Jorge just lost to Kamaru Usman on 10 days' notice, you could argue. But that's one. Izzy's got a number 2. So prove that curse wrong. Prove the curse wrong.
Don't feed into that stuff. All those people made millions.
I'm just messing with you. That's a joke that's been going around for years, and I don't think it's ever gonna stop.
The Madden curse, the 2K curse. It's there. It's always, whatever.
I mean, listen.
Because here's why that's always gonna happen. They always put the person who's at the highest point of the sport. Well, there's only one way to go when you're at the pinnacle.
You gotta go down.
You either stay or you go down. What's the most likely scenario?
Down.
You descend. Whether it's a little or a lot, you're going to come down.
There was one man that I thought should have been on the cover that is up and has been up, Khabib. I thought Khabib should have been on the cover. I really feel like Khabib. He's good. He's got market. He's got millions.
No, he's
of
amazing. He's amazing, but bro, like the name, the notoriety isn't. I don't know, man. I would not see them.
You could do an Eagle edition of the game and put him on.
That would be cool. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Eagle edition.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's better than Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in the game. Dude, that's a joke. I played the beta. It sucks. That game is terrible.
That's strange. Why would they do that?
Listen, the grappling system is better, but the whole game itself feels so much slower than UFC 3. And UFC 3, to me, had a better striking combat, better kicks. This game feels so much slower paced, and there's no Joe Rogan. It's DC. What? It's DC, and then whoever that other dude is.
John Anik.
John Anik, and then I think they're gonna put Dominic in there, but I don't know.
Megan O'Leary and Big Dom. Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of controversy, what we were talking about, let's talk about that matchup that happened a few weeks ago. I don't know what the hell happened.
You watched it again? Because I watched it again.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. I watched this fight 5 times. 5 times. 5 times I watched this. And every 5 times I've watched this fight, I still cannot find where Volkanovski won the 3rd or the 4th. 5th, you want to argue? I'll give you 5th. But I could not find where he won the 3rd and 4th.
I don't see it the judge's way at all. I have no clue.
This is their breakdown. But how is this possible?
I understand the striking, but like you watch each round and the way they score these rounds, it's a must system. Somebody must, win these rounds. And, I just didn't see any rounds where it was like, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe round 3 was kind of close. I don't know, bro. I got 3 rounds going to max, and you can make an argument for a 4th.
I watched this fight so many times. I'm getting bored of just thinking about it.
I just don't. I know they don't think about to themselves. Okay, well, Max lost the first fight, and then if he wins this one, they could just do the 3-peat, right? They could do the 3rd matchup. They don't think like that. They have to score that fight.
They got to do it.
I just don't agree, bro. And I don't know. Maybe they saw Volkanovski coming back in the 3rd round, and so they gave him 3, 4, and 5. I mean,
he clipped him a couple times, but again, that's not enough to win the round because Holloway was throwing more. Holloway was landing.
Holloway got up relatively quick with no damage from each takedown. And to me, the takedown is meaningless and holds no value.
And also, when Holloway knocked him down, when he clipped him and he fell down, that is called a knockdown. And that's how he won those 2 rounds. The only thing is, Volkanovski got back up, so there wasn't much damage. But still, Max was the more aggressor in this fight.
Is a big deal. A knockdown is a big deal in a fight.
And that won him those 2 rounds. That was a solid win for those 2. Yeah. You get a knockdown, you win that automatically. But here's where I can't see Volkanovski winning this fight. There just wasn't enough dominance from Volkanovski, maybe from those takedowns and clinch control, but that's not enough. That was late in the fight. The early half of the fight all went to Max.
You cannot, like, if you look at the total strikes, Mike, you cannot base a fight on total strikes or significant strikes landed.
You can't. No,
you cannot, because they make you score each round. Well, here I'll give you this perspective. Let's call it a 3-round fight. Round 1, Volkanovski lands 100, Max lands 50. Those are nice round numbers. All right, we'll make it easier. Volkanovski lands 20, Max lands 10, right? Significant strikes. Round 2, flip-flop, right? So Max lands 20, Volkanovski lands 10. So significant strikes are even. Now let's say that in round 3, Volkanovski gets 3 takedowns, lands 5 significant strikes. Max gets no takedowns, lands 10 significant strikes. What's more important, landing significant strikes or the takedown? See how you're gonna score that round?
Yeah,
they score rounds. They don't. So us looking at the statistics, like looking at each round and looking at the total strikes and significant strikes, I watched it again, and I still cannot see how Max lost.
me either, man.
I can see how Alexander Volkanovski lost. I can see it in the fight. I don't see how Max lost.
And listen, you were on the phone with me. You weren't on the phone, but you saw my reaction that night. I was convinced that Volkanovski lost that fight. I was sure.
I was so surprised, bro. Wow.
I was so sure. And listen, I'm not trying to disrespect Volkanovski because Volkanovski is a good fighter. But,
and the second half of the fight was really good for him.
It was. But here's the thing. You're a champion. You come out and say, I'm going to prove my doubters that it was not a fluke the first time around. I don't think the first time around was a fluke. That was a fair fight. Either. You won the fight fair and square. You come in this time, you're like, okay, I'm going to knock him out. Dude, you've left more questions than answers in my book. Because
some people thought Max won the first fight.
Some people did.
Some people, a small minority did, but some people did think Max won. So that means they were probably screaming that Max won this one.
Yeah, those are the people that were. I'm yawning not because I'm tired. I'm yawning because I've been watching this fight for too long. I'm getting tired of talking about it. I'm not even disrespecting them.
It's just so sad, bro. I feel like Max did enough to get the win. And I didn't value Volkanovski's takedowns like I think the judges did.
I think so too. And you know what? It's disappointing because now Max is going to have to work his way up. And it sucks because Max is not that type of guy. I feel like Max is always going to be that guy one fight away from another opportunity.
I did tell you when we covered that. I said Alexander Volkanovski is going to have to fight the same fight he did the first time. He's going to have to do the same things. Be first, get the takedowns. Don't, try to work around Max's reach and stuff like that. And he did that. He stayed away for the most part after the first couple of rounds. But, dude, he did not win that fight, man.
No, he didn't. I'm sorry.
Did not win that fight, yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think next for Volkanovski, because now we're going to take a look at the rankings, and then we're going to discuss a couple things, and then we're going to finish this up, guys. For the rankings, I think at this point, since you've technically beaten Max twice, there's no point in the third fight. Unless,
how about Peter Yan, by the way, real quick? How about Peter Yan? Bro?
That was a solid fight. You've been
bro.
doubting me. I feel so proud. I've been behind a guy up and coming. I feel so proud because I remember when we were discussing, you were like, he hasn't fought any high caliber fighters. I have to see him prove himself against Aldo. His only real competitor that doesn't count was Uriah Faber, which I agree with you. My man shut everybody up. I felt bad for Aldo because Aldo had to sustain so much damage that last couple minutes. But
oh my god,
Yan is the real deal. I said it. Yan is the real deal.
Yeah,
and I want him to fight personally, Aljamain Sterling. I want to see him fight Aljamain Sterling.
I think that's the fight to make. I don't think there's any other fight there at the top.
Okay, hold on. Time out. How did Corey Sandhagen go up? Oh, wait, I see it. Jose Aldo. Aldo went down.
Telling you, man, you don't have to fight to move down in the rankings.
Oh, no. But the bantamweight has good division. Look at this.
Really
You've got Marlon Moraes. You've got Aljamain Sterling. Cody Garbrandt on a comeback. Cody Sandhagen. Pedro on the up and rise. Look at also in the 5 to 10 rank. You got Rafael. You've got Jimmy Rivera. Featherweight. You've got Dominic.
Is he related to Dorado?
Who?
Jimmy?
Not sure. Actually, not sure. I can look that up for you. Mm-hmm. But they have, you've got so much depth now in the division that the bantamweights have proven ever since, what's his name? Forgot. No, he's not related. Since Cejudo left. Now the flyweights are on the map. Let's take a look at the flyweights, which I don't understand how this man's picture is not up here. It's been a week. They disrespect the flyweights. I swear. It's so
I know.
But Figueiredo, that was a great fight. I felt bad for Joseph.
That boy, good, bro.
I felt bad for Benavidez, but Benavidez is a G in the game. He was there since the beginning of the flyweights.
He never wins the big fight.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how this is not possible.
Yeah, well, man, it's like LeBron before he finally won one with the Heat. You know, they were.
What's he got to do? He's gonna pull. What's he gonna pull? What's he gonna pull? A TJ Dillashaw, move to a different training camp. I don't know. What's he gonna do? It looks like whatever he's doing.
A lot of people were saying that he didn't really get a chance to fully recover from his knockout loss. There may be some truth to that.
Yes, this chat is quiet. I've been watching it for like the past 10 minutes. But now, take a look quickly at the flyweights, and then we'll take a look at the rankings, and then that will be our last thing is matchups that we can kind of pinpoint. For me, I think Brandon Moreno, I think he definitely is next in line for a title opportunity for the flyweights. For me, though, I'll be honest with you, I don't pay attention to the flyweights a lot, but that's not just my fault. It's just in part of just how they push the flyweights. But I do like that, you've got a solid champion. Cejudo didn't need to make the flyweight division. Demetrius Johnson, I thought, really was the guy that did it before Cejudo. Cejudo just kind of solidified it. He kind of made it relevant when he beat Dillashaw. But I think the flyweights, they do need a little bit more people in terms of like name recognition. They need a little bit more. That's why when Dillashaw moved down, I was like, all right, he probably stayed there, but he lost. So I don't know if he's going to stay there. I think at this point, it's fair to say that the flyweights are going to have to kind of work their way to getting some recognition name. But I think with Figueiredo as the champion, you've got some solid ground there. I have no doubt. I have confidence in Figueiredo as a champion.
I think he's going to be. I mean, that was one of the questions that people were asking after, like right after he won. They said, "How long is this guy going to be a champion for?" The way he fought, the way he dominated a guy who was like the number one contender to Henry Cejudo for so long, or whoever else in the top contenders, bro. He's going to be the champion for a while.
Yeah.
Go ahead and look at the top 5. Who's going to beat Davison, bro?
Nah, Davison. Benavidez is out, so you've got Brandon, Alexander, and Alex Perez. You got these guys all waiting in the wings.
The only issue is that without Henry Cejudo there, which really is a cool fight, bro. Yeah, I mean that's a cool fight to make. I think you make that happen. What do you think, bro?
There's a problem with Cejudo. Cejudo knows he doesn't want it. He wants the money. He's not going to do it because he's already pushing for a fight with Alexander Volkanovski.
That's a good fight to make, though.
But he won't do it. Cejudo will not take the fight. He won't fight Jan. He won't fight Davison. He wants to fight Volkanovski because it'll make him more money. It'll make him have an argument as a triple
flyweights are 145, right?
I think it's 125.
I mean 125. Okay.
I think Mikey Tech Reviews and Bob just left. They're like, all right, they're talking too much MMA. Don't worry, Technoid will be back
tomorrow. 125, bro. I don't. He makes 125. He fought 125. Cejudo should pay the guy, bro. I'd like to see that. I'm just being selfish.
No, I agree with you. I would like to see him fight Figueiredo. Honestly, I would have liked to have seen Cejudo fight Jan because Cejudo talks a lot of crap. Listen, Cejudo's a good fighter. Cejudo is good, but now you're retired. You want to call out Volkanovski and challenge him, and Volkanovski's not giving him the time of day. He's like, nope, you're not getting a title shot, and he straight up said, I have more guys waiting for me in the featherweight that deserve a shot than you. So that's where I'll give Volkanovski credit. Don't get suckered into that crap. And as for Cejudo, listen, Cejudo was a double champion. He defended it successfully in both weight classes. He did fight top tier guys, so you can't take that away from him. Mm-hmm. But now you've got newer guys that are fresh, up and comers, and now have proven themselves, like Davison and Jan. For me, I don't understand why Cejudo left. I get it's a money gimmick, but there was so much more competition for him to take. You could have fought in Peter Yan. You could have fought Cody Sanhagen, Aljamain Sterling. You had Aldo. You wanted to fight Aldo. For me, I feel like he did it just as a money ploy. I think that's the reason he did that, because he wanted more money. Dana wasn't going to pay him. And now he wants even more money for featherweight, and I don't think Volkanovski is going to give him the time of day. I'm just saying it. I don't think that's going to happen.
I agree.
Speaking of featherweight, now that Volkanovski has beaten Max, The next guys in line is Zabit, Brian Ortega, the Korean Zombie, and Yair Rodriguez.
I don't think anybody actually knows Korean Zombie's name. That's like the first time I've actually looked at his real name.
That is the first time. It's Chan Zung Zong. We just call him the Korean Zombie. It's easier.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people here, a lot of killers in featherweight, especially Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar, that last fight was excellent. You've got Josh Emmett. Like I said, the first top 5 is already solid. But there already is a matchup. I think they're having Brian Ortega against the Korean Zombie. I think they're trying to work on that to determine the number 1 contender. But Zabit's number 2. And I mean, Volkanovski's waiting. So, I mean, give it a couple months. Maybe after the Brian Ortega fight, give Zabit this chance. But I think, honestly, I'm just going to say this right now. Zabit's a tall dude. Volkanovski is going to just do another Max Holloway.
Yeah.
But Zabit's a good fighter, though. I would like to see. I think he's fighting somebody. I forgot who he's fighting. I don't know. There's so much things going on. But Volkanovski's definitely got a lot to worry in this weight class. Just because you beat Max Holloway doesn't mean there's more killers waiting for you. You got Brian Ortega. You got the Korean Zombie. Yair, Calvin. Frankie Edgar? Number 7? Well, that's actually pretty fair. I'll give him that.
You got to look at your last couple of fights, right? I mean, that's kind of how you see the rankings.
I think Frankie is set to go to bantamweight. I thought I heard something. No, he was out.
They got him matched up against what's his next fight lined up?
Who, Frankie or Korean?
Yeah, does he have anything planned in the upcoming?
No, this was actually his most recent fight. Frankie lost to the Korean.
He doesn't have anything planned up in
nothing. Frankie has nothing.
Oh wow, okay.
So that's crazy. So for me, again, featherweight's got some contenders. So I'm definitely looking forward to the featherweights. Now you move over to lightweight. We still got Gaethje and Khabib. Now we got a new matchup possibly happening. We've got Dustin Poirier possibly taking on Tony Ferguson to determine the number 1 contender. So that's a possibility matchup happening right there. We got that's a nice one.
It's not as messy as I think we used to think it was. Once a couple of fights happened, things kind of sorted out a little bit.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And welterweight, now we got Gilbert Burns coming in. Gilbert Burns going to get that shot.
Yeah.
Colby Covington is waiting. I think Covington said that they signed a contract to fight Tyron Woodley, but Woodley doesn't want to fight. You know what? Listen, as crappy as
the best fight for Woodley, bro.
Dude,
because he's coming off a couple of losses. He needs it bad.
But here's what I'm going to say this. As much crap as Kobe is with trash talking, there's one thing he's right on. Tyron Woodley is just all talk. Man is not wanting to fight this. They have a contract. Kobe signed it. Kobe put it out on social media. He's like, I signed a contract. Signed the contract, Tyrone. And Tyrone comes out, I don't want to fight him on this day. You know what? I want to do it another time.
That's not good.
That's not good. So you know what?
Yeah.
I'll give Kobe respect there because he actually is willing to fight.
I don't give Kobe respect, but he's right. But I'm not giving him respect.
Well, I could see why, because you don't like his trash talking.
I'm not into it, bro.
No, but he's right though. Tyron Woodley for years has been talking so much crap about Colby Covington. Colby Covington just came off his loss of Kamaru Usman, and not in a bad way either. Pretty decent loss, but actually was pretty solid.
Guy, bro. Tough.
And this would be
guy.
a good fight for both of them. Yeah, coming off a loss, determine the number 1 contender, because that's top 5 competition.
How is Damian Maia in the top 7? This is crazy.
He lost to Gilbert Burns. I don't understand how this is possible.
Whatever, bro.
Listen, Damian Maia thinks he could get a championship at this stage in his career. I don't think so.
God bless him for trying, though. I mean, whatever.
Definitely. Leon Edwards is another matchup. So here's my matchups. So Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley looks like that's going to be set. I want to see Jorge against Leon Edwards. They have some beef from UK, and I think that will be a good fight because I think Jorge. It's like, and they cut him. He's like, "You're a wanker, you're a wanker." I was laughing my ass off. Leon Edwards trying to talk trash, but this would be an interesting fight for the two of them because this will definitely either give Jorge a boost back up or it could push Leon to contender. You got Gilbert Burns waiting, so I think welterweight is pretty set. Yeah. You got Stephen Thompson in the wing as well. I don't know what they're going to do with Stephen because he's also a good fighter. We've already discussed middleweight. Light heavyweight, we have an official matchup. We got Thiago Santos fighting. He's coming back. Dominic Reyes is still waiting. Forgot how you say his name.
Jan Blachowicz.
I think he was pushing for the Reyes fight, but I don't know if Reyes has been saying anything.
That's a good fight for Jan, bro. That gets him close to a title shot.
It does.
Right there.
Corey Anderson, he went rogue ever since that loss. Yeah. Glover Teixeira is making a good comeback.
He's surging. He's a wily veteran. He knows this is probably his best chance to get back at a title shot.
How the hell did Gustafsson get back to top 7?
That's his ranking at 205. That's where he.
I think, you know something. Honestly, Gustafsson, I think he should just stay in light heavyweight. I don't think heavyweight's going to be it. He's more of a light heavyweight fighter. Honestly, who I would want to see him fight. I mean, the competition is already set, but I think Corey Anderson. I don't think he's ever fought in Corey Anderson. That would be an interesting fight. I would think that. Because both fighters are losing, and Gustafsson really, you know, if he wants to stay in UFC, I think Corey Anderson would be a good fight.
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, light heavyweight said John Jones. We don't know what the hell he's doing. We don't know. I don't know. At this point, dude, John Jones is just going to be champion for a long time, and it's not even that it's bad. It's just how he's become champion. It's just that he's fighting. He's fought in guys that have beaten him. In our view, Dominic Reyes kind of solidified that. Thiago Santos kind of also solidified that. His only real true win was against Anthony.
To fight. Thiago Santos needs a fight. Is he healed?
Yeah, that's what I just said. I'm going to pull up his new fight.
I was going to say, is he far along in his recovery to where they can actually line him up for a fight?
No. They're targeting for September 12th. Glover Teixeira and Thiago Santos.
Okay.
Right. That's going to be the market fight for September 12th. And I think that's the 252 or 253 card. I forgot which one it was. So they got that working. For Dominic Reyes, I don't know what they're doing with Dominic Reyes. You know, he's sitting there at he's sitting there in the number 1 spot. He hasn't really been in talks for another fight, and I don't know what he's going to do. I argued that Thiago Santos would have been that fight to make, but you've already got him against Glover Teixeira, so we'll see how that happens. But, yeah, I think the one person I'm looking at mostly is Dominic Reyes, because I think Reyes was really the closest to putting up the best fight against John Jones. I still, to this day, think he won that fight 3-2.
Yeah.
Last up is heavyweight, and then we got the women's ranking. Well, actually, we could take a look at the women's because we do have a couple of things that changing. We're almost done, guys. You've got heavyweight Stipe fighting DC, so they're going to conclude that trilogy fight. Then you've got Ngannou waiting in the wing. Curtis Blaze has just made his comeback. Derek Lewis is top 4. Junior Dos Santos, who is in phenomenal shape. Did you see Junior Dos Santos' shape? I don't know if you saw it. I'm going to pull it up for you. But Junior Dos Santos just recently came out on Twitter and posted a picture of him in superb shape. And I'm going to pull it up here. It was in the gym. This is him now. I'm going to pull this up. And I don't know how you're going to take this. I don't know if you'll think it's funny, but this is him now.
Oh, he's lean as hell.
He is.
Wow. I didn't even know he could do that, bro.
This was
he
him
looks
before.
like he could make 205.
He looks phenomenal. So he's still pushing contendency. But if we take a look also now at back to the rankings, you know, you've got Jair Rosenstrike, who just came down. I think he's going to be pushing a fight. I don't know who he's fighting. I know he's fighting somebody. But that sucks, though, for Rosenstrike. Rosenstrike really thought he was all game. Called out Ngannou. It's like, I'm going to beat him. And then, boom, landed right on his back out cold. That's why you don't mess with Ngannou.
Yeah,
so, for me, for heavyweights, I have a matchup. I want to see Curtis Blades go up against Derek Lewis to determine the next contender after Ngannou, because I think that's the fight to make. Junior Dos Santos, I think he's fighting Jair Rosenstrike. I think that's the fight they're making. I think it could be it. You know, Volkov is sitting in the wing. Volkov was at one point a contender, and then he just went down.
He got a bad loss. Bad loss, man.
I think he could bounce back, though. The Reem, of all people, is still pushing for a contender shot. And
yeah,
hey,
I mean, he's a very, very celebrated kickboxer. He's contended for the title. He's been in championship fights. He's got a pedigree. You know, you put together 2 or 3 solid wins in the heavyweight division, you will get a title shot.
Absolutely.
And we haven't seen Daniel Cormier. Well, Daniel Cormier, if he wins or loses, this is his last fight, right?
Yeah, he's done after this.
All right, so this is the Francis Ngannou division.
Francis
I mean,
Ngannou.
they would like to see him beat Stipe. So.
Oh, he's gonna beat Stipe. Look, dude, wait till we get to predictions. I will tell you why he'll win.
Nah, dude.
From that last fight from Stipe and where he's come back, oh hell yeah.
Nah, dude.
We'll get there when we cross that bridge.
Stipe never lose.
Took an elbow from DC.
Nah, dude. Luck.
Now, to be fair, that first fight with DC, everyone argues it was just sheer luck. I don't know. I mean, you could make the argument, but DC seemed like
he was putting it on him, bro. DC's a beast.
The second fight, that was just good adjustments from Stipe. Stipe made great.
Oh no, it's not good adjustments, bro. Stipe sets up everything, bro. That was all planned. Everybody thinks that was adjustments, bro. He was hitting the body, but he was setting up everything up top, and that's why he won that fight.
I think so. But Stipe, something, I want to see this trilogy fight just to close the chapter on that book, and then we can get back to the contenders for heavyweight because there's some guys waiting in the wing. So let's just finish that chapter, and then we'll see where we go from there. Because if DC does strip the title, if he wins, I think then they're going to do Ngannou against Blades. Because if you strip the title, who's going to defend it unless Stipe wins? If Stipe wins, then you have him fight Ngannou.
Yeah, it would be a vacated title. So you put Stipe back in there against Ngannou for the rematch. If, that's how they want to go about it.
If that's how they do. Now let's take a quick look at the women's strawweight, and then we'll take a quick look at it, and then we'll end this up. So we have a new contender. It's Rose Namajunas.
Thug
Rose is going to challenge Weili Zhang for the strawweight. She's going to try to reclaim. Taking a look at flyweight, not much has changed, although Caitlin Chochagan, she's come back. But I don't think anything's going to happen in this division. This is one of those rare scenarios where the champion has no contenders.
I'll tell you what, dude. If you look at that division, there's a couple of fighters in there that they want to see contend with Valentina, but they're not ready now.
They're not ready.
I'll give you an example. Jennifer Maia has a lot of potential, but she's not ready.
That's true. I'll give you that.
JoJo Calderwood is a fantastic fighter. She's not beating Valentina.
No.
But like in terms of the division, the future, it's Macy Barber. She is the up and coming rising star. It's Macy Barber.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard that.
She has a lot of potential. There's huge intangibles there, but she's not ready either. I mean, if they fought today, I think Valentina probably overwhelms her in round 2.
I also think they want her sister to somehow make a big top. Or Antonia Shevchenko, she's in that division.
No, they'll never fight, bro.
They'll never fight. That would be interesting if Valentina and her sister fought. That would be a cool one. Sister versus sister. You have never seen. Imagine that would be like the Diaz brothers fighting. Nick versus Nate. Which brother's the best? Why would you shake your head to that? That's a money fight right there.
What is going on right now?
You seriously would be against Nate Diaz fighting Nick?
Yes.
I'm done talking to you.
Oh. What?
Back to bantamweight. There isn't, again, much for Nunes.
No.
Featherweight, I don't know what they're doing with featherweight. I don't even see a rankings here.
Nah, there's nobody there.
So at this point, I think it's safe to say Nunes is just her own division.
She is yeah.
She is basically the women's division.
She's amazing.
The only thing left for her, Nunes, would either take one more fight with Shevchenko if Shevchenko's willing to go up in weight, or if she's willing to drop down to strawweight. But I don't know. I don't think Shevchenko.
That's a hard weight cut for Amanda Nunes to get to 120. I don't think so, bro. She's a big girl. I mean, she gets up to 145 and still looks pretty good. So I don't know about getting 125. Maybe a catch weight. Maybe 130, maybe. I don't know, man.
That would be, because I argue to this day that second fight with Shevchenko, I still argue she won that fight. I still think so.
Wow. Yeah, it was tough to score. I thought Valentina did enough to beat Nunes. Valentina's a tough matchup. No, the striking is next level, and her grappling is excellent. She's really good. Yeah.
Something I will say this. If they did do a trilogy fight, catchweight would be a good idea. But if Shevchenko drops down to strawweight, that's going to be incredible. But I don't think she'll ever drop down. I think she's just going to stay right there.
135 is a legit weight cut for Amanda. I mean, she's big. She's very strong and powerful. That's a tough weight cut. Like it's a pretty standard weight cut for Amanda. 130, man, that'd still be tough.
It would. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
There's no title at 130, so like, what would they be fighting for? A catchweight. That would be a fans only fight.
Yeah. Well, the only competition right now is strawweight because you've got a lot of name recognition in the strawweights. And Nunes, I can't ever see her going down there. Only thing I can ever see is these guys going up to flyweight, and that's it.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. And hopefully these divisions shape out because I really like Shevchenko and I want her to continue succeeding. And that's it for Outside the Cage. That's it. We did it for a full hour. So I want to thank you guys for those of you that watched this and for those of you that just went rogue. Thank you for going rogue. Thank you to the SMT for coming on. Always appreciate you coming on here. Also, guys, if you didn't see, I have a new episode of Technoid Live, a Sunday special.
Yeah.
Definitely go check that out. Also, my new series, Let's Be Real, is going to start going into mass production starting this week. So there'll be more frequent episodes. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you enjoy what I bring to the table. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next podcast. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.